Hello guys， 今天是我第10次的跟读练习。那今天目标呢是这部影片2分10秒的内容。好，开始喽。
Most distraction, it turns out, is not spurred by the external triggers at all.
Most distraction, it turns out, is not spurred by the external trigger at all.
Most distraction does not start outside of us, but rather starts from within.
Most distraction does not start outside of us, but rather start from within.
The root cause of why we become distracted
The root cause of why we become distracted
is because we feel these internal triggers,
is because we feel these internal triggers,
uncomfortable emotional states that we seek to escape.
this uncomfortable emotion state that we seek to escape.
So if we're going to answer Plato's question of
So if we were gonna answer Plato's questions of
why do we get distracted, why do we do things against our better judgment,
why do we get distracted, why do we do things against our better judgment,
we have to start one layer deeper with first principles of why do we do anything.
we have to start one layer deeper with first principle of why do we do anything,
What's the nature of human motivation?
what's the nature of human motivation.
And when you think about it, most people will tell you some version of
And when you think about it, most people will tell you some version
carrots and sticks,
of carrot and sticks.
that it's about the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain.
That is about the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain.
This is Freud's pleasure principle.
This is Freud's pleasure principle.
Neurologically speaking, that's not true.
But neurologically speaking, that's not true.
That in fact, we do not do things in the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain.
That in fact, we do not do things in the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain.
That neurologically speaking,
That neurologically speaking,
we only do things for one reason,
we only do things for one reason,
and that is to avoid discomfort.
and that is to avoid discomfort.
Physiologically, we know this is true.
Physiologically, we know that is true.
If you go outside and it's cold,
If you go outside and it is cold,
that's not comfortable. What do? You put on a coat.
that's not comfortable. What do? You put on a coat.
And when you go back inside, now it's too hot.
And when you go back inside, now it is too hot.
That's not comfortable. You take it off.
That's not comfortable. You take it off.
If you're hungry, you feel hunger pangs, you eat.
If you're hungry, if your hunger pants, you eat.
And when you're stuffed, oh, that doesn't feel good.
And when you're stuffed, that doesn't feel good,
You stop eating.
you stop eating.
So physiologically, we feel this all the time. This is called the homeostatic response.
Physiologically, we feel this all the time, and it is called homeostatic response.
The same rules apply with psychological sensations, not just with physiological sensations.
The same rules apply with psychological sensation, not just with physiological sensations.
So when you're feeling lonely,
So when you're feeling lonely,
check Facebook. When you're
check Facebook.
uncertain, you Google.
When you're uncertain, you Google.
When you're bored, check the news, check sports scores, check Reddit, Pinterest, whatever.
When you're bored, check the news, check sports scores, check Reddit, Pinterest, whatever.
All of these things cater to these uncomfortable sensations.
All of these things cater to these uncomfortable sensations.
So that means if all human behavior is spurred by a desire to escape discomfort,
That means if all human behavior is spurred by desire to escape discomfort,
that means, as you said, time management is pain management.
that means, as you said, time management is pain management.
are trying to escape an uncomfortable sensation.
Fundamentally, if we don't deal with this fact that we are trying to escape an uncomfortable sensation,
When we become
when we become distracted,
distracted, if we don't understand it and learn new methods to cope with that discomfort,
if we don't understand it and learn new methods to cope with that discomfort,
we're always going to be distracted by one thing or another.
we're always going to be distracted by one thing or another.
One of the things that people do that doesn't work is strict abstinence.
One thing that people do that doesn't work is strict abstinence.
Now, strict abstinence is when you tell yourself, I am not going to do that thing.
And strict abstinence is tell yourself, I'm not going to do that thing.
And it turns out that strict abstinence, for many behaviors, backfires.
It turns out strict abstinence for many behaviors backfires,
Particularly behaviors that are very difficult to avoid completely.
particularly behavior that are very difficult to avoid completely.
How do you abstain?
OK，今天就到这喽。